In this video, we will learn how to use the visualization exporter from the Mail and Deploy extension. We will go through two examples that are the same, just that one of them uses the on-premise Qlik version and the other one uses the cloud version. We also have Mail and Deploy on-premise for the first example, and then Mail and Deploy in the cloud for the second one. Other than this difference, they are completely the same. This is the app we will be working with, called Executive Dashboard. The Mail and Deploy extension files are located in the installation folder of Mail and Deploy, in the self-service folder, then in the Qlik Sense folder, and in this video we will be using the visualization exporter. To add the extension in the on-premise version of Qlik, we will first go to the Qlik Management Console. Then we can click on Extensions here, then on Import, next choose File, and then we can find the correct folder. It is already imported here, so we don't need to do it again. After importing it, it will be available in Qlik under Custom Objects. Then we click on Mail and Deploy, and there we can find the visualization exporter. In general, the visualization exporter is used to download objects from our sheets or to send them by email. Now, the first thing we have to do is to create a data source in Mail and deploy that connects to this app. Here is the data source. As we can see, the host is our local host, and the app is our Executive Dashboard Partners Workshop. We can't forget to click the sync button after adding it to get the cache. Next, we need an API user. The type should be API user, and the credentials need to be custom. It doesn't matter what they are, though. The important part here is the access key. Now we can start configuring the exporter. In the connection part, we first need the API service URL. It's made up of our regular URL, in this case, localhost to 14999, and then we add /API after it. It is essential that this part matches. In this case, we are using HTTP, so our Qlik app also needs to use HTTP. The same thing goes for HTTPS, but then it's also important to have a real certificate, not a self-signed one. It would work without a real one, but only if we have Mail and Deploy open in the same browser and in the same session. If we would insert an S here to make it HTTPS, the browser would ask if we are sure we want to enter this website, and we would click Yes. Here we can see that the Qlik app is using HTTP, so it works with our API service URL. In the next field, we will place the access key from the API user that we saw before. Next, in the data source menu, we just have to select our workspace, M&D Partners Workshops in this case, and our data source, namely Executive Dashboard. In the visualization menu, we can choose between all visualizations, only specified object IDs, and exclude specified object IDs. For now, we will leave it as all visualizations and explore the other options later. Continuing with the distributions configurations, we have the choice between download and send email. If we choose email, we can specify the email addresses, subject and body, and as they are all expressions, the data could come from Qlik information from our model. This extension is usually used with the download option. However, the email option is practical in cases where we would want to download a really long table that would take a long time to download. If we would request an email instead, Mail and Deploy will process this request in the background, and we would not have to actively wait for the download. This would allow us to continue working as normal, as the dashboard would not be blocked by the download. The mashup is only used in very specific cases. Please contact the Mail and Deploy team for further information. In the Appearance menu, we can change the button color to blue, for example. And we can also change the text color, but we will leave it white. Now let's continue with the localization. Let's have the button caption be Export. The processing button caption can say, "Wait a bit." Then we can call the success title title and the success message message. The export window title can be called export. These fields are not as important as the ones that follow. Here we can write the terms export table, export graphic, landscape, and portrait in any language we want. As we can see, those fields are part of the drop-down menus in the export window. That's why they are mandatory. In the Conditions menu, there's a field called Show Condition, where it is possible to hide the button according to a certain condition. If we write 1 equals 0, which is obviously false, the button is hidden. However, in normal use cases, we would rather have some function, such as get selected count of something, or the condition could recognize if someone is a manager and then show the button. There are many options to this field. In the usage condition, we could add requirements that need to be fulfilled so that an export would be allowed. For example, we could specify that the user must choose 1 month and 1 year for the request to go through. Then in the usage condition message field, we can add a text that will be displayed as a warning, and it tells the user what the requirements are. For example, we could write, "Please select only one region." For this example, we can add get selected count of region as 1. Then if we try to export without selecting a region, we will get a warning message that reads, "Please select only one region." Lastly, we have the Layout menu, which includes a checkbox called Apply Custom Layouts. To showcase its functionality, we have these buttons. Firstly, we have a pivot table here, where we can change the dimensions as we please. Mail and Deploy stores how the original app looked like, with the dimension month on the left side. In the Don't Apply Layout button, the Apply Custom Layouts box is not checked. We can further add selections to this table. Now let's try and press the button Don't Apply Layout. As we can see here in the drop-down menu, we can only choose this pivot table. We can set this in the Visualizations part of the configurations by choosing the option Only Specified Object IDs in the Exportable Visualizations drop-down. And this is the ID of this pivot table. Here is the export. And as we can see, the layout is the original one with the month's dimension in the rows instead of the columns. Now we can press the Apply Layout button, where the checkbox is ticked. And we can see that the month is not on the side, instead it's on the top of this table. Now let's do the same thing but sending it per email. Here is the email address, the subject, and the body. We can press the button now and send it as a table. This is the email with the table in its original layout. This button only has access to the objects on this sheet. If we want to have it on other sheets, we need to copy and paste it onto them. It is possible to export the objects not only as a PDF document, but also as a HTML, Excel, PowerPoint, or Word document. Next, let's see how to import the extension into the SaaS version of Qlik. We will first go to the Qlik Management Console, then in the Extensions tab, and click Add. Then we can find the extension and import it. However, if we would have Mail and Deploy in SaaS, then we would not have this folder with the extension. In this case, we would have to contact Mail and Deploy support, which is found in the description of this video, and request these files. Then we would upload the files here as usual. When working with Qlik in the cloud, it is important to create a new content security policy. The name is not important, but the origin needs to be the Mail and Deploy SaaS URL, including the port if it exists. This URL needs to be HTTPS. It is mandatory. Then we also need to check the box Connect Source. The rest is the same as the on-premise version. That is everything there is to know about the visualization exporter. We have learned how to successfully install and configure it to our liking. Thank you for watching this advanced training.